everybody, welcome to Caketastic Cakes. It's Jen, and I'm going to show you this quick and simple little cake I made using nothing but some fondant and molds and a cake dummy. So you're going to get to see me use that too. So here's my cake dummy. Speaking of cake dummies, this is a great way to make a cake have an extra layer without having extra cake. So it kind of saves cost, and they're nice and strong. You can save them, use them for display. Now I wiped it down with some Crisco. That was what I was doing there. And that's going to help the fondant I rolled out stick to the sides, because otherwise you're dealing with dry styrofoam and it just doesn't stay as nicely. Some people put a little bit of icing on it. I just give it a little rub down with some Crisco. Works just great, no problems. And you treat it otherwise just like you would a regular cake. So I smoothed down the sides, trimmed off the extra, using a fondant paddle just to, again, clean up the sides. I did put some pressure marks in the center of the cake there, but I don't care because it's my bottom tier, so there you go. I put a little tape onto my cake plate in order to make the cake stick. You could use some icing if you want. I just used tape. This is going to be my top layer of cake. This is actual cake that I had iced and stuck in the fridge for about an hour, I'd say, just some buttercream icing. And you cover it the same way you did with the cake dummy. Now my cake dummy did have 4-inch sides, and it was rounded at the top edge instead of like a straight, out and then straight down type of cake dummy. It's a rounded one. So when I'm covering my other cakes, I have to make sure to do that to match. I've been trying to get sharp edges on my cakes because it's just, a goal of mine. I'm not all that great at it, so it's something I'm trying to do better. And if you use a cake dummy, you got to match it. So I had to default to my rounded tops, which I nailed it, so it was no problem there. Look how nice and rounded off those tops are. Yeah, meant to do that. This is going to be my middle layer. It's just some light pink fondant, same cake as before. Again, treat it exactly the same as before. It's been in the fridge, set up nice and cold. And yeah, there you go. Now I'm going to go ahead and stack my 2 real cakes. So I've got my cake plate there. I made an indentation in the fondant in the place that I want to set the cake. So I cut some holes out, some little pilot holes. I have the legs there that I have trimmed to the proper height. I have a little bandsaw in my garage. I don't, my husband does. Has a bandsaw in the garage that I use for that kind of thing. Of course, it makes a lot of dust, then you have to wash them, but that's okay. So yeah, press the legs in, lock the plate in top. Put some icing on top of your cake plate, and then set your other cake on top of there. It's nice and sturdy. It's not going to smush your cake. It's on the bottom. It's not going to do anything to it. Now, some people will stack the cake and then put the fondant on top. You could do that if you're not going to have any type of a border on it, and that way the fondant will go all the way down to the cake below. Okay, so that's just a little bit different step that you could do if you want a different look. I had put some icing again on top of my cake dummy. Then I just set the cakes on top, and now I rolled out some more fondant in that same pink color to make my borders. So I just rolled out a nice long strip, wrap it all the way around. This is a big cake, so you're actually going to see me in some of it here. That little bit of a lip there at the top that is showing through, I am filling in with some icing. I'm just piping in some icing. That will make the gap go away, and that will also fill in or give area, now that it's filled in, for the border to stick to. So it won't be just like this hollow area that if you were to bump it or something, it would kind of get tucked underneath the cake or maybe make a dimple. Not anymore. It's all nice and neat. Okay, there's my white border in the middle. And like I said before, this was kind of like a low effort cake here. I'm just using molds. So I'm just going to show you real quick. I've got this mold. I use it a lot just because I like little fancy decorations I can make with it. I'm just making some, I don't know what it's called, filigree, I guess. Filigree type style stuff. And I'm just going to create a little border around the top in a pattern that I'm just making up. So yeah, I just went all the way around like that. And this way, again, it's pretty, it's simple, it's clean, it's no problem. Okay, now I've got a different mold here that I'm using to make little tiny rosebuds because that's what they wanted. I've got slightly different color shades of pink mixed in here in order to give my roses a little bit different color, so it's not quite all the solid same baby pink that I got there, but the baby pink is present. I'm spacing my roses, as you can see, just kind of up, down, up, down, up, down, all around. Did it for the bottom, going to do it for the top as well. And then I'm adding a little rose to each of the peaks that come down in that little filigree kind of design that I made there, just to make it a little nicer, a little cleaner looking. Clean up any mistakes you might have made. That's it. So yeah, these nice simple cakes can be easy and pretty. So I hope you found this video helpful. Please like and subscribe because it helps me out as well. I've got a lot of other videos out there, so please take a look. And as always, thank you for watching Caketastic Cakes.